How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm here today to do my review of Stranger Things Season 1. I am a little late to the gate on this series. I'm about 6 years late, but I've been wanting to watch it for a while and I just binged the first season, so finally I'm doing my review of this. But before we get into this review, I want to give a thank you to everybody who subscribed to my channel. I have reached my goal of 100 subscribers. I'm actually at 106, and now I'm hoping to grow to 150 subscribers. So if you're new here, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel and help me reach that goal and help me create a nice community of people on this channel. Now with that out of the way, let's get into this review of the first season of Stranger Things. So Stranger Things was created by the Duffer Brothers and takes place in a small town called Hawkins in Indiana, and also takes place in the 1980s. And I wasn't quite sure what to expect going into this show because I've heard some people say it's kind of scary, like a horror, and I'm very hit and miss on horrors. I like some of the more sci-fi horrors like Alien and The Thing. And I say this one has horror elements, but it's not too bad, and I overall really like this season. And it was nice. It had a lot of influence from other things, specifically Stephen King. There was a lot of Stephen King influence in this, and even had a bit of the Goonies vibe, and even some E.T. I felt some E.T. in this, and I really liked that. Like, it had influence from other things, but it stood out as its own thing, which I really liked. And it has some scares for sure, but I thought they worked very well, and it wasn't just like a horror show. And it's not, I wouldn't call it a horror show, it's more like supernatural sci-fi, and I really liked that. It had a really interesting premise, had a nice mystery to it, had different, like most shows, different storylines going on that sort of connect to each other, and I liked all but one of them. I'll get into the storylines in a bit, but I just want to start with the characters in this show. I thought the characters are really good. They're really fun. I really enjoyed the kids in this, like Finn Wolfhard, Millie Bobby Brown. I can't remember all the actors' names, but all the kids are really good, and like I said, that's where I got a bit of the Goonies vibes, and there's some sibling relationships and part of this show that sort of remind me of E.T. a bit, and also the way they're trying to hide Eleven, or Elle as they call her, the way they're like hiding E.T. in the E.T. movie. So I like that. The characters, like, you could believe them as friends, and you don't always want to like criticize child actors too much because they're children, but they generally did a really good job in this. They were well casted. All of them gave really good performances, in my opinion. And the older characters as well were really good. I thought Winona Ryder really stood out in this show. She was great. David Harbour was great as well. There were no bad performances in this, which was great. And as I mentioned, there are sort of several different storylines going on that interconnect, and I liked all but one of them. I'll start with the ones I did like. The ones with the younger kids focused around Elle and Mike, Will, Dustin, Lucas. All that story I thought was really good. That's more of like the sort of Goonies story a bit, just maybe not as family friendly. And then there's the storyline with Winona Ryder and David Harbour's characters, which that was really good too, when they're looking for Will, who's gone missing. That's Winona Ryder's character's son. That was really good. I liked when he was David Harbour's character at the start. He wasn't really taking it too seriously, and then he's sort of uncovering this almost like conspiracy stuff that's going on around the town, and he starts taking it more seriously. And towards the later half of the show, he gets more depth to him as a character with some flashbacks, seeing stuff that he went through in the past. I thought that was really good. And then I also liked the storyline with Jonathan and what was the older sister's name? Nancy. I liked that for the most part. I liked when they were working together as friends to try and figure out what happened to Will and Barb, who was Nancy's friend that went missing. I liked that. There's sort of an aspect of that storyline that connects with another one that I didn't like, and that's the stuff, sort of the love triangle with Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve. I'm not a love triangle guy. I usually don't care for them, and I didn't in this. Part of it was, for most of this season, I didn't like the character of Steve. He was a generic character and one I don't particularly care for. towards the last couple of episodes of the season, he started to become better, more humble, maybe less of that sort of playboy character. So I'll be curious to see what they do with him in the second season. But yeah, just love triangles, I don't really care for. It, to me, just took away from like the main stuff that was going on in the show. And there are parts with Jonathan, like when he was taking pictures of all of them at the party, that was creepy. And I get it, he's a lonely guy, I guess. But yeah, when he and Nancy start becoming more friends, that was good. I liked it when Steve started to, I guess, admit he was doing things wrong and try to make up for that. That part I liked. That was at the very end of the series, or the season. That was okay, but it was just the stuff when I personally just couldn't, with the kind of person Nancy seemed to be in this, I just don't know if I buy she would go with someone like Steve. But I don't know. I don't know much about people in general. But yeah, that part I just wasn't a fan of. And like I said, the love triangle, not a fan of. And then at the end of the season, while it's heavily implied that she has feelings for Jonathan, she ends up with Steve still. And at the very end of the show, which takes place a month after the main stuff, and that part's like, after everything that happened, I don't know if I'd buy that she'd still be with him, but if he really did change his ways, then maybe. But I guess we'll see what they do with this character in the second season. I hope they continue with improving him, because just that stuff I just really didn't care for. The more teenage drama, not so much. But everything else concerning the younger kids searching for Will and helping out Eleven, and then the parents and Dave Harbour's character, the sheriff, I guess, looking for Will and investigating this company, this facility that's doing all this weird stuff. That was all good. There's good mysteries. There's some funny moments, a lot of heartfelt moments too. There's some good scares. They're not oversaturated with scares. I'd say this show's not oversaturated. It's not focused on constantly scaring you, but it has its moments, and I think they're done very well. It has some cool looking creatures in this too that kind of remind me of the ones from A Quiet Place, but they were good. And like I said, it did a good job just not oversaturating the show with these scary monsters and the jump scares and all that. There were some episodes that, did they even have any scares in all the episodes? I think they may have had some little ones, but definitely wasn't focused on. I had cool ideas with this idea of, like, you know, Will, the kid Will, who went missing in the first episode, stuck in this sort of alternate dimension. That was really cool. I liked the way that place looked, or when Elle was doing this thing with her power and she was, I guess her mind went to this other reality. I'm not quite sure, but I would call it other reality. Those scenes I thought were really cool and just very well done. Overall, I thought this season was great. I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of the show. Other than that one storyline that I didn't really care for, I really liked this season. And I think I would give this season an 88%. It was really good. So guys, if you have seen the first season of Stranger Things, let me know what you thought of it. And again, if you're new here, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Help me reach 150 subscribers. And stay tuned for some of my upcoming videos. I'm hoping to watch the 355 soon. I'll do a review for that. As well, I'll continue my James Bond movie countdowns with You Only Live Twice. And of course, I'll be going to the rest of the series, so stay tuned for upcoming videos on Season 2, 3, and 4. So until my next video, take care everybody.